This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Booking.com. Since 2010, they've helped over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. That's billion with a B. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com. So are we supposed to start the podcast? Welcome to America's Top DEI podcast. Pumps is traveling to go see her son in Houston. So Kiley is subbing for Pumps today. And as you can see in the background, I wrote in her office, IHIP Lesbian Office World Headquarters behind her. So Kiley, how are things going in the Lesbian World Headquarters?
They're going good. I've got a lot of pressure filling in for Pumps and a lot smaller tits, but I'm going to do my very best.
You are that all, but all of that is true. All of that is 100% true. Kiley, what have you had it with?
Okay, I've had it with everybody having birthdays, and I just feel like I'm going to have to tell people and remember to text them happy birthday until I die. And if you forget, it's the end of the fucking world. And I have a friend who has an Excel sheet where she keeps track of who doesn't tell her happy birthday so that she knows who not to tell back. So like, I just am over it. I don't remember anyone's birthday. I send 60 emails a day and then I'm done talking to people.
Okay. She has an Excel spreadsheet and she keeps inventory of people that don't wish her a happy birthday.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's itemized by name.
She said this out loud to you? Like, these are the people who didn't wish me happy birthday? How old is this person?
Now 30, but
she have a personality disorder?
You know, undiagnosed, maybe, but this is a real thing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fucking crazy. I mean, that is the histrionics involved in that, the self-importance. That is wild. Is this a functioning adult?
It is. Married. I mean,
breeding?
Job, gonna breed. It's just a problem for me because I can't remember that stuff.
Let me ask you this. Is that off-putting for you? Like for me, that would make me like kind of think, I don't know if I want to be this person's friend anymore.
Honestly, no. This person is my friend. It's like for 15 years now. As long as the crazy doesn't come at me, I rarely care.
Have you ever missed her birthday?
Hell no, because I know about this Excel sheet.
That's wild. That is, and is she mad? Like when people don't? Is she hurt?
Yeah, and it's like, it's the same people that use an unfollow app. You know about these? That it's a separate app you download. And if someone unfollows you on socials, it tells you. And they do it. They do this so that they go unfollow the person back. So people just care a lot about this. Like,
wait a minute. So you get a notification if somebody unfollows you, and then you go tit for tat.
It's tit for tat. That's what all this is. People care so much.
Wow. I'm kind of speechless about all of that.
Yeah, it's a scary world out there. But I will say, on the contrary, if anyone forgets my birthday, I'm like, well, I guess our friendship doesn't mean much to them. So it's twofold.
Wait, if somebody forgets your birthday, you think that...
Yeah, I want people to text me happy birthday.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So you're kind of similar.
Probably, yeah. But I just don't want it turned on me. I'm a hypocrite is what it is.
Okay, I'm that way about the environment. Yeah. I want to be an environmentalist. I know climate change is real. I do very little to combat it. You know?
Nope. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a total hypocrite on that. I absolutely don't care if people don't text me on my birthday. And sometimes it gets so overwhelming by like 5 or 6 p.m. I'm like, enough. It's not that big of a deal. It's a birthday. Everybody has one. Let me ask you this. Does the girl who has the spreadsheet, does she celebrate a birthday week, birthday month?
I'm sure she's done a birthday week. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I haven't lived near her in a long time, so I'm not like privy to all of it, but there's no way you have a spreadsheet about who tells you happy birthday and you're not celebrating a birthday week.
Yeah. Well, that's That's very alarming to me. The list, the reveal that you yourself get upset if people don't text you happy birthday.
Yeah.
What is that about?
I don't know, because I get annoyed on my birthday and to respond to everybody because I don't like texting people.
Yeah.
I copy and paste. Thank you. I copy and paste into everyone. But it's just, if no one texted me, I would be pissed. So it's like, what do I want?
I would say if nobody texted me on my birthday, if not one person, I would probably be like, oh my God, the irrelevance of that would be a fatal blow. There's no question. But like when acquaintances, like I have some people on my birthday, the text stream is literally because Facebook or, or social media sharing stories, then everybody knows it's your birthday. I have several people where the text stream is only on my birthday. Happy birthday, Jennifer. Me saying thank you. Happy birthday, Jennifer. Me saying thank you. And it's like 4 or 5 years. And that's the extent of our communication. And I think if you're going 2-3 years with zero communication, you don't have to wish each other happy birthday. It's kind of like an item of clothing. If you haven't worn it in 2 or 3 years, donate it, get rid of it.
You should send that on the next one. When there's 6 happy birthday thank yous in a thread, you should be like, happy birthday. I think this is the last one.
I think
I'll cut it off.
Relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me tell you what I've had it with. And I think we've discussed this before, but now that I'm living in New York, it's a real issue for me. Listener, Kiley is abundantly aware that I am a very fast walker and I don't realize how fast I'm walking. I just do. I have one pace when I walk. And Kiley is kind of a famous non-walker. Like she can get less than 1,000 steps in one day. So as I'm trekking down, and my French bulldogs moved to New York with me, and they are excellent walkers, and we go on walks every night. And it's somebody who's walking in front of us, and they're at a good click too. And then all of a sudden stop right in the middle of the sidewalk with no announcement, don't step aside, and then Cha-Cha, Tubbs, me, we're all just banging into the person. So I've had it with that. And then I told Pumps this story, but I think I should tell you and the listener. So day 2 of me being in New York, I took the subway to Soho to get my hair colored. And as I'm walking down the subway steps, there's a guy kind of lying on the steps before I got to the part where you pay. And he's masturbating.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I'm walking down and I see the motion, see that his pants are undone. I didn't quite see the peen or anything like that. And I was like, I was like, oh, that's what he's doing. And then he looks up directly at me and he says, I'm coming. And then he did.
No.
Yeah. So I thought a couple of things about this. Number one, that's disgusting for sure. But number 2, I've still got it.
No. It's exactly my first thought.
You know what I mean? I could be like, oh my God, that's so disgusting. But then I got on the subway and I was like, welcome to New York, Jennifer.
I mean, what if he had looked at you and it killed his boner? Like, I would think about that forever.
That would have been far more devastating than the money shot.
I agree. It's disgusting and I never want to see it. But if it's going to happen, I at least am glad I could help.
Take it over the finish line. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think, welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Kiley.
She's
HBIL. No, HLIC. Head lesbian in charge.
And it kind of is like H-lick. It's kind of.
That's kind of good. I should coin
kind of on brand. So listener, Pumps went to Houston to see her son. And she was like, I'm going to change the flight. I'm going to push it back. And I said, don't. We film 1 million episodes all the time. Go enjoy the time with your son. And Kiley's subbing in. One day, Pumps is subbing for me.
We're practicing codependency. I have had it. Podcast. Independency. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any reviews of this podcast?
We do. Up first, I've got a 5-star titled Jennifer and Angie, something. It says Black, yes, capital B, Christian Chicagoan woman here dropping by to extend a public invite to the Black Cookout to Jen and Angie. These two get 2 lifetime passes, but it will be revoked if they bring potato salad with raisins. To attend the amazing cultural event that is the Black Cookout, it's our circle of love. This podcast is thoughtful, honest, funny, and Jen and Angie show what it truly means to be an ally to the marginalized in this country and world. Thanks for keeping it real. Thanks for holding politicians' feet to the fire. Loved your interview with Jeff Duncan. Thanks for speaking to the grief of this time, and thanks for exposing these performative Christians. Wishing continued success.
That is so nice. Very nice. The cookout, which I think all white people should aspire to be cookout approved white person for sure. And then we have to keep exposing the performative Christians because they're just too much.
And the politicians on both sides. It's very important. That's what the right doesn't do. And I think that's why you guys make such an impact. I mean, our inbox is full of positive and negative, but a lot of positive because people just feel so seen when you say these things to politicians on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I've got one more. 5 stars. With love from Buffalo. Courtney says, saw a woman sitting next to me with the podcast on her phone while we were both awaiting mammogram results this morning. Made me feel a little better to be next to someone like-minded. Keep fighting the good fight. Love this pod and anyone else who is listening.
That's so nice.
The podcast has actually been a really good litmus test in public for me. Like I was getting some work done on my car and this like guy, blue collar, I just assumed he shouldn't know what I do for a living. And then he texted me after because we got to talking about it. And he was like, I'm a huge fan. And so is my wife. And I was like, it's how I find safe people.
That's a really good point. I was at the pet food store in Oklahoma City before I moved. And a couple of the people that work there, I thought for sure MAGA, right? And they're like, hey, I've been watching your clips. And, you know, and she said something like, I am so fucking done with Trump. So I don't know if she was MAGA at some point. Mm-hmm. But no, I kind of feel like everything right now, when people say, oh, I'm not into politics, I just think that's such bullshit because everything is political right now. Everything. We're literally in the fight for, you know, our democracy. And I agree. It's a really good litmus test.
It is. And saying I'm not into politics is someone who is just embarrassed to say their views, I think. Because
I agree. I think they're embarrassed to say they're MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What about, do you have any friends that have cut you off?
I don't. I've had friends that used to talk about the podcast a lot when it was more surface, like when we talked about casserole or the HOA. And they would text me all the time, big fans. And then I noticed a lot of them die off when it became more political.
Yeah. It's a great way. It's a great way to eliminate. This episode of I've Had It is brought to you by Booking.com. Pumps, I've got to say, if you're looking to grow your vacation rental business, this is the place to be. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the entire world, and for good reason. Since 2010, they've helped over 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. That's billion with a B. But here's the thing. Most vacation rentals don't even realize they can list their properties on Booking.com. And if you're not on the platform, your rental is basically invisible to millions of Booking.com travelers worldwide.
And nearly half of the hosts get their first booking within a week.
So listener, if your vacation rental isn't listed on Booking.com, it could be invisible to millions of travelers searching the platform. Don't miss out on consistent bookings and global reach. Head over to Booking.com and start your listing today. Get seen. Get booked on Booking.com.
As we know, the holidays are coming up and everybody wants to be in the kitchen for the holidays. So whether it's Sunday roasts, cozy dinner parties, or baking marathons with kids, fall is when real cooking begins and your cookware should rise to the occasion. Enter HexClad, the hybrid cookware that blends stunning design with pro-level performance. With its patented non-stick surface and stainless steel durability, HexClad makes it easy to go from searing a pork tenderloin to simmering your favorite butternut squash soup without skipping a beat or scrubbing for hours. Every HexClad product is backed by a lifetime warranty, so you're not just investing in better tools, you're building a kitchen that's ready for whatever the season throws at you. I'm telling you, you will feel like you can do anything in the kitchen with HexClad. So fall is the season for cozy gatherings and home-cooked meals. So why not treat yourself to the best cookware to make it all a breeze? For a limited time only, our listeners get 10% off your order with our exclusive link. Just head to hexclad.com/hadit. Support our show and upgrade your fall kitchen at HexClad, HEXCLAD.com/hadit. Make sure to let them know we sent you. Cheers to stylish and stress-free fall hosting with HexClad. It's time to buy holiday gifts. And the guys at True Classic started with a simple mission: bring premium and comfortable clothing to the masses, because looking and feeling great shouldn't come with designer price tags. And I originally bought True Classic for my oldest son, but now they have a women's line and I absolutely love it. I am shopping for myself. There are sweat sets that are so unbelievably comfortable. And my favorite piece is the tank top. It's easy to dress it up or dress it down no matter the day. So skip the stress and overpriced designer stuff. Give comfort, give confidence, give True Classic. You can find them at Amazon, Target, Costco, and Sam's Club, or head to trueclassic.com/hadit to shop the perfect gifts for everyone on your list and yourself.
Okay, we have a great guest today. He is 1/3 of Pod Save America, and we are going to rip it. So he's representing his group. Pumps is out. I'm representing I've Had It. So together we're going to make a dynamic duo. His name is Tommy Vietor. Tommy, are you here?
I'm right here. How you doing?
Good. How are you? How do I pronounce your last name?
Vietor. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
Vietor.
No one cares.
Let's welcome to I've Had It, Tommy Vietor. Tommy, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to do this. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm very excited to do it too. And I was so upset because your staff at Crooked contacted us and wanted us to go to Crooked Con.
I know.
I can't go because my youngest son is a freshman at USC and it's parents' weekend, that exact same weekend. So I'll be in LA.
You can't miss that.
Working mom his whole life. Like I have to show up to all of that big stuff. So
you're a good mom. We'll miss you. It would have been very fun. But you know what? Hopefully it'll be good and we'll do it again.
Yeah, if we still have democracy, we'll do it again.
Right. Details.
All right, Tommy, what have you had it with?
I've had it. I've had it with getting beaten by the biggest fucking losers on the planet. I'm thinking about Stephen Miller, thinking about Don and Eric Trump. I'm thinking about all those racist assholes featured in that Politico story with their little Telegram chat where they're talking about how they love Hitler. And have you seen photos of these people?
Yes.
My friend sent me a tweet that said they look like they were genetically engineered to survive golf cart crashes because they're just
I saw that
goofy looking. Anyway, I'm so tired of these losers beating us, and there's being this perception that MAGA is cool and that is the ascendant part of the culture, and it is just wrong, and it's driving me crazy, and we can't let it happen anymore.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I always say to Pumps, I'm like, we cannot lose our democracy to these fucking dorks. I mean, Stephen Miller is the worst.
The worst.
Absolute fucking worst human being on the planet. And then you get to J.D. Vance, who is a failed drag queen. You know, he is a failed drag queen. He wanted to be a drag queen. He couldn't do it. He wasn't fabulous enough. He goes off to Peter Thiel's gay boot camp in Silicon Valley, and he comes out like a sociopathic, queer-eyed freak show. He'd be so much cooler if he'd just come out. And, I have this whole theory, Tommy, that in the MAGA movement, there's a group of DL demon queens. And I think that a lot of them are mad that they can't come out and feel pride. And so they browbeat everybody all day long. And then they get on Grindr at night, and then they go do gay stuff, and they wake up. But I think they think, like the Mike Johnson of it all, he's such a nut evangelical. I think he thinks, okay, I can't stop doing gay stuff. But if I make America Christian nationalist, then I'm going to curry favor with God. I grew up in a red state around all these evangelicals, and they think shit like this.
The repression. No, sorry to interrupt. You're so right about the repressed. There's so many people who are repressing something and then acting out in a way that is evil and cruel towards the part of themselves that they hate. You just see that over and over and over again. It makes me crazy. It makes me crazy.
What about Dumb and Dumber? That's what I call Eric and Dawn.
They are there. So there's a story in the Financial Times this week that says the Trump family organization has made $1 billion with a B dollars in realized gains from just their cryptocurrency business since he's taken office. Like, these people are making out like bandits, and they are just looting the U.S. government, and they are trading favors left and right. I mean, Trump went to Egypt to the Sharm el Sheikh peace summit thing, and he's on stage, and Prabowo Subianto, the president of Indonesia, like grabbed him and started asking him questions. He's like, "Do I talk to Don? Do I talk to Eric?" And he's like, "Call Eric. He's a good boy." And they're just doing a real estate deal on stage at this peace summit. Like, what's happening here?
The thing is, when I think about it, it's every single day there's like 5 to 7 impeachable / above the lead corporate media meltdown moments. But it's all just kind of skimmed over. It's all just kind of normalized. The fact that, like, to me, Trump's dementia is so pronounced. It's so obvious. Like, every night he has like sundowner hour in the Oval, it seems like. And everybody's standing around him for his show and tell. And I have this theory. I think that, like, the Peter Thiel, the Stephen Miller, the J.D. Vance of it, they're like, okay, we're going to give him design projects. He can work on his redecorating, he can work on his Arc to Trump. We're going to keep him super busy with that while we go shake down everybody and everything. Just keep him busy.
Totally.
Because he doesn't have the intellectual capacity to stay on to do all of these diabolical things. He's down with it, but he doesn't have the staying power to see it from start to completion, because a lot of them don't have anything to do with him.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, he doesn't have staffers. He has fluffers, right? I mean, everyone is just there to tell him he's great. And it's this constant, just like nauseating process of this stroking this man's ego or something else. And yeah, it's hard to watch. And Peter Thiel, by the way, is apparently in the midst of doing like 4 nights of these lectures about the Antichrist in San Francisco. You could pay $200 to watch Peter Thiel tell you about the Antichrist. That's a thing people are doing now.
Like, and I had to look him up, because this is an interesting, like, psychological case study. So he's gay, out of the closet, married, has kids, total Bible thumper, and like puts as a side hustle, does conferences on the Antichrist.
Why?
And he decided he doesn't think that democracy is great anymore. And he wants to do away with it with his buddy Curtis Yarvin and move us into dark enlightenment. And here's the thing. I wish Democrats would grow up here and just start saying shit like, you're going to let, and I know the messaging, we don't believe in this in our core, but it would resonate. And I feel like we play 2 different games. And I feel like some Democrats need to say, you're going to let some guy that was born in Germany, raised in South Africa, comes over here, gets tax loopholes, and he's going to decide we shouldn't have democracy. And he's queer-eyed J.D. Vance and owns this guy. And you're going to let him destroy the country? But it's all this pussyfooting around with the Dems. And to me, it seems like such a layup to take these guys out, and they get their feelings hurt so bad. Like, I've been going viral for 24 hours because I said J.D. Vance doesn't defend his mixed race kids and his wife of Indian descent. The right wing is melting down. I mean, they're losing their minds because I said that. They're such titty babies. They can't even take it.
They're so sensitive. I mean, you're right. Like Democrats, I think sometimes think, here's the way we win elections. They stack this many accomplishments and we stack this many. And it's like, nope. The way politics works is sometimes you need to pick an enemy and you need to demagogue an issue and you need to fight and make people think that you're on their side while the other guys are on a different side. And one thing I've been watching and is driving me insane is the Trump administration right now is floating this proposal to bail out to Argentina. Why? Because their crazy president, this guy Javier Milei, is nice to Trump and shows up at CPAC, these right-wing conferences. And you know who's going to benefit from this bailout? BlackRock, PIMCO, hedge funds, billionaires. It's like this was designed in a fucking lab to be the most politically damaging thing I've ever heard. And by the way, meanwhile, farmers in Argentina are undercutting U.S. soybean farmers by selling their crops to the Chinese. And these American farmers are about to go bankrupt. And yet we're going to give a $20 billion bailout to this country. How is this like, light yourself on fire and go in front of the White House and talk about this?
Here's the problem. The Democrats don't talk about it. And so guess who's filling that void right now? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
She is tweeting that. The Democrats are not having moral clarity about Israel. And guess who is? Marjorie Taylor Greene. So you have this nut who has a lot more political savviness than I ever thought, who is a grifter, who is an anti-Semite, who has the most nefarious of intentions imaginable, but she hangs out with Steve Bannon all the time, who is a political strategist, a nut, but a smart political strategist. Yep. And they're filling this vacuum because you know what they see? They see that in this authoritarian, Trump has to emit strength in order for it to stay all intact. Mm-hmm. He's got bruises on his hands, cankles, dementia. His makeup looks like shit. He's cheating at golf more and more. And so he looks like this frail person. So the fissures in MAGA are happening. So the smart MAGA people, and I know that sounds like an oxymoron, and it is, but the most opportunistic MAGA people see this void that the Democrats will not fill. And so as a person who lived in Oklahoma City for 51 years, I know what the electorate, Oklahoma City is perfectly purple. It's 50-50. I know what middle Americans think. And when a politician says people in Israel have health care and people in Israel do not have student loan debt, that's going to hit hard in flyover states. And if the Democrats don't fill that void, then some grifting anti-Semitic opportunists like Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to fill it. And now, Tommy, they're talking about changing the $20 billion to Argentina to 40.
Yes. Well, because why not double it? Well, let's just double down on this. This guy's an insane person, by the way. The president of Argentina used to carry a chainsaw to events because he was going to chainsaw the government. Then he gave his chainsaw to Elon Musk at CPAC because, like, why not give a man coming down from ketamine a chainsaw? What could go wrong with that? And also, he's talked about how he's got this corrupt sister who's his only advisor. He talked about talking to his dead dogs to get political advice. Like, this guy's fucking bonkers. And we're like, yeah, here's 20 billion, here's 40 billion. Why not?
Did you see his concert that he put on?
Oh my God, yes. It was like low rent Rolling Stones, community theater Rolling Stones doing like 80s cover songs in a leather jacket with this crazy like Wolfman hair.
I thought it's so hard to out crazy Trump.
Yeah.
It's so hard to look like a bigger asshole than Trump. And when I saw that concert, I was like, he did it.
Nailed it, sir.
Kudos to him. Yeah.
Credit to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Kiley, our producer, told me that you listened to the Cory Booker episode.
I did.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
Let's just start with the Israel stuff, because that's where I was like screaming at the phone. And I felt like I was really glad you pushed really hard. So what I found frustrating was you were making really valid, important points about how Americans don't want to support a country that is bombing kids in Gaza, right? And a lot of his answers were deflection and whataboutism. And just to summarize, like a lot of what he said was like, what about Sudan? And what about U.S. support for the Saudi-led war in Yemen? And I just want to address those two issues quickly because those are very important and I care deeply about both. And so when it comes to Sudan, we need to restore the work USAID was doing because people are starving to death in refugee camps right now. And then the U.S. needs to crack down on the United Arab Emirates because they are funneling weapons to the RSF, which is the other half of the civil war happening in Sudan. So I'm with Cory Booker there. And then on Yemen, he was like, what about when Obama was supporting the Saudi-led war in Yemen in 2015 with like refueling and logistics? logistics. And that is true. Like the Obama administration, which I worked for, I left in 2013, but they did this after. They were providing like logistics, intelligence support, et cetera, and then arms sales. And then there was this awful airstrike on like a funeral or a wedding or something in Yemen. So the administration paused and then cut off that support. But it was a mistake for the Obama administration to do that. But like, we're talking about a thing that happened 10 years ago, right? But so like, setting that aside, like I'll take on those issues. I'll talk about them anytime. What the U.S. does for Israel is just an entirely different category. And to suggest otherwise, I think, is dishonest. Like the Congressional Research Service did a report on U.S. military support for Israel, and they state in clear text, the Israel is the largest cumulative recipient of U.S. foreign assistance since World War II. To date, the U.S. has provided $174 billion in military assistance to Israel. And on top of that, there's all this diplomatic cover at the United Nations. Bibi Netanyahu is a ICC indicted war criminal for starving kids to death, for bombing populated areas. And like, we're welcoming this man to Washington. He's been to the White House, 4 times? There was that awful picture in the Senate that you mentioned. It's like, this guy is a corrupt racist who, before this war started, was trying to shred Israel's judicial system. And so like, I've heard this argument over and over again from people like Senator Booker and other Democrats I fight with about this. That's like, well, I want to be in the room and I want to make my case to his face and not have these disputes spill out publicly. And I just want to say to them, what has that accomplished? What has that improved? Did you break through with this corrupt, racist war criminal in your meeting with them on Capitol Hill? No, he doesn't give a fuck about what Democrats think, because Bibi Netanyahu wanted Donald Trump to win, and he wants you to lose your election. And let's just like be clear-eyed about that.
Right. No, I completely agree. I knew when he was throwing Obama under the bus, because he brought up his parents being civil rights activists. And then I kept kind of probing him. And then when he threw Obama under the bus, which I agree with you, Obama was known as a drone president. And there's an argument to be made there, but that's a separate conversation than the one at hand. And Obama is universally beloved. I knew that he was underwater. I have a lot of thoughts about all of this. So I have always been the Democrat in this red state. And when you live in a red state, you are more domestically focused, especially if you live in a red state, because they are coming after civil liberties. They are Christian nationalists. Mm-hmm. Nothing that is happening right now on the national stage surprises me much, because that's the way it was in a deeply religious red state my whole life. Local politics were just like this. And so, of course, I knew about Israel, and of course, I knew about Palestine. But when you live in Oklahoma and the oceans are a long way away, I'm not trying to sound glib, but you don't care that much, mm-hmm. because you have politicians that are trying to take away your right to an abortion, gay marriage, all sorts of things. And so, I had kids, I was an interior designer, and then obviously get more and more and more into politics. And that, when you see what's happening in Gaza, it's a moment where you think about when you learned about World War II, mm-hmm. who is speaking out, who is going to stand up for these people. And so it was something that I really started digging into. And then I've been so shocked at the Democratic establishment's take on so much of this. And then when you dig into it more and more, they're all beholden to AIPAC. And then when you realize that AIPAC gave Trump just as much money to get elected as Elon Musk did, and then you start opening your eyes up more and more. And so when we first started talking about politics, obviously a bunch of white women, it was Heartbreak Hotel. They were really mad at Pumps and me because we weren't MAGA. And then we start talking about politics more and more. And then a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were the moderator for Kamala Harris's book tour in LA. Super mm-hmm. cool thing to do, right?
Awesome.
And then the leftists were really mad at us. And I want to be clear about this to the Democrats. As much as Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries and Chuckles Schumer piss me off, and what weak, duplicitous, bought and paid for politicians they are, I would claw through 10 feet of concrete and get my fingers to the bone to go vote for one of them over a MAGA Republican.
Beautifully said.
Because I have lived in a state where these MAGA Republicans have had super majorities. And in Oklahoma, it's ranked 50th in education. You got some nut who just resigned, who's the biggest closet DL demon queen I've ever seen in my life, obsessed with trans people, obsessed with porn, trying to annihilate teachers' unions. They do away with workers' rights. So as much as disgusted as I get with corporate Democrats, I know what's on the line to vote for them. They're not my first choice. So I feel like as we navigate this, and I'm able to have Cory Booker on the pod, and I'm able to talk to him about the things that I think are important and vulnerabilities of the party right now and the party's messaging, it's also important for people to understand he's not my first choice, but I would walk barefoot uphill for 10 miles to vote for him over a fucking Republican.
Totally. And like, I first of all, I loved every minute of that rant. I feel the same way. It's like sometimes political debates get so flattened. And it's like, you know what? We're all adults here. Like, you don't get everything you want out of life. It could be infuriating and frustrating. And sometimes our choices are bad and worse. But worse is worse. You know what I mean? And better is better. So like, let's just like put on our critical thinking hats. And the other part of the Booker, the sort of domestic political conversation with Booker, like I get what he was saying there when he was like, my voters care about the economy. My voters care about me getting funding to get these lead pipes replaced because lead is devastating for kids. And I got that from the Biden administration. And I think that's all like totally fair and that's important. And that is his job. But like the disconnect there was like, you're an activist. You know what I mean? Your job is not to like, you're not serving constituency. Your job is to push him and other Democrats from the outside to be more progressive because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like, you know what I mean? If you're hearing from only the pro-Israel side, you're going to lean that direction. If you're not hearing from people who are concerned about the war in Gaza, you're going to think there isn't a constituency. And also, like, I feel like what a lot of Democrats are saying when they say they want their leaders to fight harder is like, we want more harm reduction. Like, I get that Cory Booker's trying to like pass things that are good, but like Trump is devastating communities right now. And it's like, how can you throw your body in front of that to block it? Like, I think that's what people are calling for.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think my heartache with Cory Booker was real. Like, I, as a person, a liberal person that's not religious at all, that lived in this Bible thumper red state, I mean, Republicans out the wazoo. Politicians like Cory Booker or Hakeem Jeffries or Nancy Pelosi were like, for me, it was like, okay, good. Somebody gets it. Somebody's fighting for me. And then when I see like, this is a 911 all hands on deck and we're voting to confirm, what's his name? Kushner?
Yeah.
You know, my thing is like, you have to be a credible messenger, Senator Booker. You have to have credibility. And so when you say you care, oh my God, look at what ICE is doing. Look at what ICE is doing with these little kids and sending them into court and they don't have a lawyer. And these 5-year-olds are standing in front of a judge. That is abhorrent. And Cory did a whole Instagram reel on that. And then you find out that he, you know, is funding and consistently voting. The only bipartisanship that I see right now is the support for Israel, which Israel, the government at least, favors MAGA, which is interesting to me because all the anti-Semites I know are Republicans. Evangelicals are the most anti-Semitic people I've ever met. But the credible messenger part of the Democratic Party is super important to me right now. Like, if you can't cherry pick which kids you care about, which is why I care about Israeli safety. I do, but I also care about Palestinian safety. I care about both. And I feel like the Israeli propaganda tries to force you to pick one, to value one over the other. But that's kind of the government they're trying to set up, is an ethno-state that favors Jewish people over others. So they're projecting that onto us. And I think there's a massive vacuum here, Tommy, a massive vacuum. And grifters that are truly anti-Semitic are going to fill this void. And the problem with all of these fuckers that are playing patty cake with these fascists is at some point the knives are going to be turned at you. The Latinos for Trump just found this out. You know, I don't know how they didn't see the mass deportation now signs, but now they're getting deported, and they're starting to find out. But I want to make one more point about Kamala. For a lot of people in this country, if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're a woman that lives in a red state and you were raped and you had to travel, and this is very real, this happens all the time. You had to have somebody sponsor you and go get money and try to sneak out of the state to go get an abortion because you didn't want to have your rapist baby. A Kamala Harris candidacy for that person who doesn't think in terms of the global stage meant a lifeline.
Yeah,
and living in a red state for so long, I understand that. I understand how important that is for so many marginalized people. And on the left, I feel like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like if you don't go far enough left, then you're ridiculed. And I feel like as we build our tent and structure it, the people that piss me off the most in this tent are the Cory Bookers and the Hakeem Jeffries, because I can't understand, and this is a question I wanted to get to with him, but he had to go vote even though the government shut down, why he hasn't endorsed Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah, that's crazy. I find it, the caution around Mamdani's race is exhausting and infuriating. Like, he is a really exciting, cool, young politician with some really progressive positions who seems like fundamentally a very decent and good guy. And the idea that the leadership of the party cannot back him for some strange, mysterious reason is just, it's pathetic to me. It's absurd to me. And it's also like, hey guys, do you think this is really going to save you? Do you think the Republicans aren't going to try to suggest that you believe everything that Mamdani believes at the next election? Of course they are. So just sack up and like support the guy that is exciting people, especially young voters, and actually able to communicate with them, like in a way that like no one has done since AOC kind of came onto the scene. Like this is a sort of like a step change in terms of just the ability to communicate a message and values and actually seem credible to people. Like that credibility gap is not, the problem's not being solved by a lot of Democrats.
And I don't know why he doesn't just say something to the extent that Zoran's a little bit further left than I am, but I believe in democracy and I believe in the Democratic primary. I think it's very Trumpian that Cory Booker and Chuckles don't endorse him. I think it's giving Trump. It's giving Trump vibes. And we are supposed to be the party that we believe in free and fair elections and this person's the winner, and they won't endorse. And one thing I wish I would have said to Cory on the interview is he said a lot of people don't know who Chuck Schumer is. And that's true. A lot of people have no idea. Mm-hmm. But at this point, in this moment, everybody should know who the Senate minority leader is, because that's how loud and that's how much hell they should be raising. Everybody in America should know exactly who is the face that's fighting for them, that is the closest proximity in the House and Senate to get things done. And the fact that Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are not household names right now tell you what a shitty job they're doing. Because I think the Democrats, like I heard, what's that old guy's name from Louisiana that did the Clinton campaign manager?
Oh, Jesus Christ. James Carville.
Him. Okay. James Carville. He said he has a political strategy and he may have evolved since then. So I don't want to pigeonhole him into this. I heard this a couple of months ago that like when your other side is really messing up, just sit back and let them mess up. And then if this was a Mitt Romney presidency or John McCain, I'd say, let him step in it. But this is different. And I think the fact, I wish I would have pushed back on him on that they're not being that loud is evidence to what a failed resistance they're putting up.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I like you, I think of my best comebacks in the car on the way back from the argument. So, but like, I honestly had the same thought as I was listening. It's like, yeah, well, like our leadership, we're not great messengers. We're not great communicators. And in this moment, I think there is a huge void in terms of everyone kind of looking around the party for leadership. And then like some Democrats are surprising you. Like Chris Van Hollen, senator from Maryland, was not someone I was like super familiar with, but he went down to El Salvador to try to get contact with Kilmar Abrego Garcia during the CCOT stuff. He's been really out front and a leader on all things Gaza. And I'm like, seeing someone like that step up and inspire you, like that's cool and important. But I'd like to see a lot more of it from leadership. And sometimes I worry with Schumer that like a lot of this is age and just kind of like coming from a different era and this lingering belief that like, oh, Republicans will come to their senses after Trump. And we can go back to the old ways where we like kind of negotiated things in good faith and got drinks later. Like I kind of think that version of politics is dead, or at least dead for a long time. And we got to like snap it, like figure out the next thing.
Listener, the hot book of the summer. Oops, I have it the wrong way. Take two. Listener, the hot book of the summer is now the cool book of the fall. It is, in Trump's America, I can tell you with absolute certainty, the best book that has ever been written. And believe me, a lot of people are talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it. It took us one day to write it.
Because we're
on day one.
Because we took a cognitive test and it was book, write, done.
All right. Anyway, please buy our book. It's a great way to support us. It is a really fun read for the fall. Curl up with your pumpkin spice lattes and just enjoy living the American dream in dipshit Trump's America. This ad is brought to you by Vive Healthcare, the makers of Apertude, Cabotegravir.
You never skip your SPF and you carry hand sanitizer like an accessory, but what are you doing for HIV prevention? One way to help protect yourself from HIV is Apertude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of getting HIV in adults and adolescents weighing at least 77 pounds.
You must be HIV negative to receive Apertude and get tested before each injection. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. More HIV testing may be needed. Apertude does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections. Practice safer sex to reduce your risk. Get Apertude as scheduled. Missing doses increases your HIV risk. Don't take Apertude if allergic to it or taking certain medicines that may interact. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions, liver problems, and mental health. Serious side effects include allergic reactions or rash, liver problems, and depression. If these occur, get medical help right away. The most common side effect is injection site reaction. Bring your A game and talk to your doctor. Learn more at apertude.com or call 1-888-240-0340. When my husband, he's a criminal defense lawyer, and he was born and raised in a town called Hugo, Oklahoma, 5,000 people. He's a Democrat, but he grew up around all in the part of Oklahoma where Trump wins like 80-20, right? Mm-hmm. So when he heard Cory Booker dodge, when I said, do you think Benjamin Netanyahu's a war criminal? Yes or no?
Yes.
And he couldn't answer it. My husband said, you think Trump would blink? You think he'd think 2 fucking seconds before he'd answer that? And that's the difference. They're playing two different games here. The Democrats want to govern incrementally and word salad and all of this rhetoric. And I just don't think it resonates anymore. And I remember when Trump first came on the scene, when he went down the escalator, nobody thought he was ever going to win the primary, Tommy. Mm-hmm. But when he was at the debates and he was browbeating Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, good. I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I did too. I would cancel plans to go home and watch those debates. I remember like there was a party my friend was throwing. I was like, I'm sick. I got to go home because I wanted to watch that. Because he would say, be like, hey, Rand Paul, your hair sucks and you're ugly. And you're like, oh my God, we can do this now? This is great. But yeah, no, Trump, look, I'm not a big Trump fan. He is an incredibly successful and adept politician. In part because he says what he thinks in an unvarnished, blunt way. And I think, like on your Gaza point, like I'm with you, right? I think most voters are not primarily focused on foreign policy. However, like they've consumed information about the war in Gaza for the last year. They've heard it called a genocide. They've heard about the ICC. They've heard about kids getting starved and bombed. And when you can't just speak candidly about that, or when you seem like you're dodging or ducking, they start to wonder, like what else is this person not being straight with me on? Or like, why can't they tell me the truth here? Like, what is it about them that is just, gives you a bad feeling?
It just makes you think that the fix is in on them. Because if you can't say Benjamin Netanyahu's a war criminal, which I think is just an objection. I mean, it's just true. It's just a fact. And that he, and that he knows on some point, because the photo shoot where he's kind of like hiding.
Yes.
And it's the more you open up your eyes to it, for me, as somebody who was like an MSNBC Democrat, I was a good Democrat. I watched MSNBC every night, and I hosted fundraisers for local politicians. They always lost in Oklahoma, but I did my part, right? I had Obama signs in my yard, Hillary signs in my yard. But the more I open up my eyes to all of it, the person whose message has aged the best is Bernie's. His message I remember I put a Hillary sign in the yard, and my son was like, Mom, you're such a centrist. I can't believe you don't have a Bernie sign in your yard. How I managed to raise liberals in Oklahoma. But my son was kind of right, because those policies have left an incremental governing, and the wages not raising and the wealth disparity has created this vacuum. And when Trump comes in and he's saying lion Ted and he's beating up on people, it makes people feel like somebody's fighting for them.
Yeah.
And he gives that state of mind. And I think I'm really impressed with Graham Plattner out of Maine. I think somebody like that would really resonate well in flyover states, because he's just very plain spoken. He calls people out. Mamdani is so talented. It's a shame that he wasn't born here, because he has the ability to stay classy and cutting all at the same time. I think he's just very impressive. But who do you think if the election were the primaries were next month for president, 2028, let's fast forward, who would be your top three that you think it would narrow down to?
I mean, I just want to start this by being honest that I'm just not really impressed by anybody right now. And I'm not trying to duck your question. I'm happy to talk about names, but I want when I was, in 2004, I worked on the John Edwards for President campaign. We lost to John Kerry. I was trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life. I was sleeping on a couch, broke and jobless, waiting to get a job. And I found Barack Obama. I read his book. I got obsessed with it. And I became obsessed with working for him. It was all I wanted to do. It inspired me. It excited me. And it's I'm not looking for that again, because I'm old now and, I have kids and can't do that shit. But I want someone to make me pound the table. Yes, you're getting me fired up. And so there are people I think are really talented. I think Pete Buttigieg is really talented. You could throw that guy on Fox News. It could be a 10-on-1 interview. He will hold his own. He will do and say impressive things. I think Gavin Newsom is fighting harder than anyone. And I'll be honest, back in the day, I did not like Gavin Newsom. In the 2008 era, he was on the other side of the Clinton-Obama thing. I had some hard feelings about him. I sort of thought some things in his record were shitty. Then I met him. I interviewed him a couple times. I spent time with him, and I was like, God damn it. I really like this guy. It's so annoying. He got me like that. He's funny. He's he wants to win. He's he's one of us. He could be on this show, and he would just hang out with you guys, and you would have a blast. So I'll pause there, because I don't want to list a billion people, but I don't know. I want someone to make my heart flutter.
The two that you mentioned, though, I feel like this is what we need to start talking about. It's what I talked about with Corey. So I believe Pete kind of face planted on your all's podcast with a Gaza question, correct?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then recently, Gavin was asked about AIPAC, and who's always such a smooth operator. You can tell hamster just starts taking off on the wheel. And he's like, interesting. You're asking me
that was
about
weird.
AIPAC. Interesting. That's weird. I've never thought about it. I feel like these people, if you want to run on a national ticket, you better have a good answer for that. And they think this is the difference. The MAGA base is stupid. They're not, they read, I'm sure I'll get ripped for that, but I don't care. They read information and watch information that is not fact-based. So they think they're really well informed. On the left side, we are more informed. And so I feel like a lot of them are treating us like we're stupid. With Corey, I felt like the whole thing was an insult to our intelligence that he can't say, of course, he's a war criminal. And so all of that filibustering that they do doesn't work so well. And I feel like whoever the next nominee is on a national ticket better have a really good fucking answer for that thing, because the right machine is already seeing curtains on Trump. They already see it. He's frail. Biology is going to catch up with him any minute. And so they're seeing a post-MAGA electorate. And Marge is positioning herself. Tucker Carlson is positioning himself. I think he could run. And I think if the Democrats do not start talking about this in a smart way that addresses it instead of playing dumb and possum, it's going to fuck them. I really do.
Yeah, no, what I heard from Senator Booker was just like, it sounded so defensive. And it's sort of starting at this place where it was sort of like, it was almost like suggesting you were unfairly singling out Israel out of some animus. And it's like, no, man, like people are talking about this because there's been this horrific war that has filled our TV and social media feeds for 2 years. And I don't want to see any kid die. I don't want my tax dollars to go to bombing kids in Gaza. And it's just like that's not an anti-Semitic thing to say. That's not singling out a single country. That's like being self-aware that we've given $174 billion to Israel in military funding. And like, we are viewed as a party in this conflict. And I think that honestly, some terrorist group a decade from now is going to blow up some bus full of tourists in Greece or someplace. And it's going to be because of the war in Gaza and U.S. support for that. And I don't want that to happen. So like that's that piece of it for me. On the AIPAC front, I just think we should just be clear about like kind of what AIPAC's goals are. Like it's an organization that essentially is demanding that everyone vote the kind of Netanyahu line. If you stray, you get attacked. Like I got called an anti-Semite by the head of the ADL for suggesting that Bibi Netanyahu dragged Trump into war with Iran, which is just like self-evidently true. Yeah. But I think like for Democrats, it's like, hey, AIPAC wants you to lose. They primarily intervene in Democratic Party primaries and take out progressive candidates. So let's just like be honest about like what this organization's values are. And if you want to be associated with that, okay. But like, don't tell me I'm wrong for raising it.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think sometimes it's been a difficult conversation for a lot of us to have because I'm an atheist. I've always been an atheist, but I have a lot of Jewish friends. And in Oklahoma, all of the Democratic fundraisers that I would go to, the most progressive people there were Jewish people. We have a very small Jewish community. I sent my kids to a Jewish preschool. And so I understand from having Jewish friends, the dark cloud that you must grow up with, reading about World War II and the Holocaust and how horrible that is. Mm-hmm. But I also have some Palestinian friends, and I have to value both of their suffering and both of their dark clouds the same and not give preferential treatment to either. And I think the emotional blackmail that is being put on by Israeli propaganda style sites to emotionally blackmail us, that when we say that we see something that is morally wrong, that if we say that, then somehow we have to tiptoe because we're going to be called an anti-Semite, is just wrong. And I think this situation is craving a Democratic leader that can come up and speak factually and truthfully about this, put the kibosh on all the AIPAC money. Like you said, they always want the Republicans to win. Okay, Tommy, let's play our game. It's a world famous game. Had it or hit it. Gavin Newsom's played it. Your former boss, Barack Obama's played it. Now you will play it. Oh, my God. Welcome to Had It or Hit It. I would hit it. Had it. I hit it every day, sometimes twice a day. Okay. Had it or hit it, Miss Rachel.
Hit it. I love Miss Rachel. She's on all the time in my house. Also, she has been like speaking up for the humanity of Palestinian kids. These monsters attacked her for it. This group called Stop Anti-Semitism suggested she was funded by Hamas. I made this video like defending her and calling these people insane. So now we're friends and we text. She's the nicest human being on the planet. Stop attacking Miss Rachel for caring about children. Sorry if I'm going on too long, but it's outrageous.
No, I love that. So she followed me and followed the podcast on Instagram. So
you should have her on.
I asked her, but I think she's busy. I mean, I will. I'm going to have her on. So I screenshot and circled it and sent it to my nephews. I have an older sister, so my nephews are like in their 30s, and they have little toddlers right now. And they were freaking out that Miss Rachel had followed me.
She's the queen.
Had it or hit it, free speech hypocrites.
Hit it. I'm tired of these people. Tired of these people. Wait, I'm sorry. I've had it. I do not want to have sex with all the people trying to kick you out of the country if you were critical of Charlie Kirk. I'm so sick of this hypocrisy. You know what I mean? Like, remember Elon Musk used to tell us he was a free speech absolutist? Where'd that go? You know, where'd that go for Jimmy Kimmel? Where'd that go for any student here who happens to have like written a completely vanilla, banal op-ed about how like the war in Gaza is bad? Like, I'm so tired of this bullshit. You guys do not care about free speech. You care about speech you like. You want that to be free.
You know, these guys are such babies. Pumps and I call them titty babies. They just, the list of things that they're triggered by: Jimmy Kimmel, Bad Bunny, white liberal women, Mexicans, black people, Colin Kaepernick, and it grows, drag queens, gay people, Pod Save America guys. Can you imagine navigating a remote control if you were a MAGA Republican? Could you imagine the minefield that would be? I mean, these guys are such pussies. It's unbelievable. It goes back to your very original grievance that we're getting beat by these total fucking pussy dorks that are terrified of Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Bad Bunny.
Yes. And the president and the vice president are like number one. They log onto Twitter, they find something to be aggrieved about, and they write these like op-ed length screeds. Should you have something better to do?
Have you seen that guy? Speaking of op-ed link tweets, his name, he's a big
Bill
Trump,
Ackman.
That guy, a total nut. I mean, can you imagine? Here's my thing about these billionaires. Can you imagine you have crushed capitalism?
Yes.
You haven't flown commercial in decades. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. And then you saddle up with Trump. Like, that's your legacy. You don't leave some sort of thumbprint that you did something good, that you did something earnest, that you really help people. Your legacy is going to be writing novels on a white supremacist website named Twitter for a man that cheats at golf that is dumber than a box of hot rocks. It's unbelievable.
They're so whiny. It makes me insane. Like, yeah, go get on your PJ, go to Stad or something, whatever you people do.
Exactly. Okay. Had it or hit it, Ted Cruz.
I'm hesitating because Ted was the only person who actually took a principled position on the topic we just talked about when Kimmel was suspended and said, actually, no, this is bad for the FCC to do that. And so George Bush had a famous line: "It was the soft bigotry of low expectations." But I'm tapping that ass right now. I'm hitting it.
So Ted Cruz, Pumps and I always say we have the most unfuckable men in America list. And Ted Cruz was number one forever. And then until the rise of Stephen Miller. And now it's neck to neck. Like Stephen Miller, Ted Cruz, obviously neck to neck. But something glorious happened. Ted Cruz, I was on CNN the other night and I was bashing J.D. Vance because he wouldn't condemn the young Republicans. And I was like, you have an Indian wife, you have mixed race kids. MAGA, if he won't stand up for them, he's not going to stand up for you. Ted Cruz retweeted the clip. Here it is. So good. He writes, "This is disgusting. Leave his kids alone." Which, Tommy, I think this is so rich coming from the guy who Donald Trump called his wife ugly, said that his dad assassinated JFK. And then Ted Cruz is literally like feigning tears at the RNC, screaming, "God bless Donald Trump." It's unbelievable, the moral collapse that happens when people capitulate to Trump. It's like one tiny centimeter, and then progressively they become worse and worse and worse each and every day. Everybody in his orbit becomes a worse person.
What a ridiculous whiny baby, especially when you think of the broader context, which is like Donald Trump and Republicans have spent the last 5 or 10 years spending the majority of their time like demagoguing trans kids, right? And like, saying the meanest things they could possibly say to a community and attacking them constantly as part of just like a political prop. So Ted can fuck off. He is a little titty baby. Should I take back my thing? No, I'm glad he said what he said about free speech.
No, but you still have to. You have to have had it with Ted Cruz. You can have the caveat that sometimes assholes have moments of clarity.
Yeah,
that's it. Ted had a moment. Raphael had a moment of clarity, but he sucks. He will always suck. He's undefeated at sucking. Well, actually, Stephen Miller probably sucks more. Okay, last one. Had it or hit it. The United States of America.
Oh, I'm hitting it. I love this country. It's a great country. We gotta fight for it. I think what I'm excited about, right? Today's Friday, the 17th. Tomorrow is Saturday, no Kings. There's gonna be millions of people out on the streets protesting in their own unique, fun ways. In Portland, they'll be doing naked bike rides.
Paris?
Oh, the terrorist rallies that we're all going to tomorrow. Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly right. The Hamas fueled terrorist rallies we're all attending tomorrow. No, but it is like, look, the first Trump administration, it was like out of the gate, huge protests, women's march for our lives, right? There was this solidarity. There was this feeling that we were pushing back immediately. There was a reminder to Trump that he had not won the popular vote, that we had the numbers, and there was strength in that. And this time it has just been the opposite. Right. It is this void, and we are all feeling it, and we're all looking for our leaders to step up. But I'm sick of waiting for them. So I'm really excited for everybody to come out this week and be on the streets and to be protesting. And so that's what I love about America, that we can still do that you and I can say the meanest things imaginable about the White House and we're allowed to do it. So I'm going to hit it.
Okay. And now tell our listeners about Crooked Con.
Oh yeah, Crooked Con's coming up. It's what the hell date is it?
Well, I know when it is
7th.
because it's Parents Weekend at
That's
USC.
right. That's right. Yeah, no, Crooked Con is in DC on November 7th. We are trying to get the least annoying politicians, the smartest activists and strategists together to just get in a room and talk about the future of the country, what we can do better, how to fix things, how to fight. I'm going to do a nerdy thing about progressive foreign policy. I'm excited to do it. It's always fun to see people in person. I think we desperately need to convene more. Republicans are really good at this, like CPAC. They bring them all together, all these goobers in a room, and they figure stuff out. And we got to do it. So I'm very excited about Crooked Con. So go to crookedcon.com if you want to come.
Cool. All right. Tommy, I just so enjoyed this. It's been long overdue.
Thank you so much for having me. You're like the only person in my TikTok these days, so it's really great. I feel like this is a big deal for me.
Oh, thank you. And we are huge fans of PodSave and all of the work you do. And I agree with you that we all need to unite and collaborate as much as possible. And I just appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is really fun.
Okay, bye. He's cool, right?
I love him.
So smart.
Oh, I would be so scared to be in a room with any of the PodSave guys and try to hold my own. Yeah,
they're all very, very smart. They're all good looking guys too. I think they're like the OG left political podcasters.
Agree.
Yeah. I think they're all great. Well, guys, Kiley, thank you for subbing for Pumps. Make sure you check out Crooked Con. Make sure you buy our book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. And we'll see you when do we see you, Kiley?
We'll see you next Tuesday and Thursday.
Thursday. All right, bye.
I'll tell you what I've had it with. Let's hear it. I've had it with that.
Listen up, patriots, gaytriots, and natriots. We have a new podcast that has dropped. It's called iHip News. It's Monday through Friday, every day, 15 to 20-minute hot takes on the political landscape of the United States of America, always served with a side of petty grievances.
We are on all the available platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever you get your podcasts, and YouTube.
Please go rate, subscribe, and review so that we will chart upwards with America's greatest legal mind. Pumps, what does an eagle say?
Caw-caw!
A little bit more enthusiasm.
Caw-caw!
That's it. That's
caw-caw!
That's the patriotism that this country needs right there.